Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So I did go see my recruiter in St. Louis on Friday and do some stuff with her. I did a whole bunch of waivers for all of my tattoos. They took pictures of this with a normal collared shirt on. I went there with a V-neck, so they gave me a navy shirt, which I'm definitely stoked about. I like the shirt, it's cool. So they also told me that there's just recently approved somebody with a big old side neck tattoo that got in, and they said the Navy's pretty much approving everything, which is good news. I also did some of my criminal background stuff as far as them getting all of the handwritten statements from me about that, and also some medical stuff because it came back that I was allergic to two medications that I've never even taken before. That's the honest truth. Never taken them, either one of them. I don't know what they are, and I just don't understand why they're there. So it is what it is. I don't know. Like I said, never taken either one of those two medications. Don't know why they are on my deal. It also says that I was prescribed. I think it says I was prescribed them at 1.2, but it's definitely not something I was ever taken. It was Vistaril and Seroquel. I think the Seroquel is for like anxiety, depression, mood disorders type of stuff. The only time I would ever been on something like that would have been after my first wife passed away. But I pretty much remember the stuff I was on, which was like Zoloft, Boost Bar, stuff like that, which isn't anything I wanted to take. It's just that you go to a doctor, you let them know what's going on, how you're feeling, and they're going to want to prescribe you stuff. So that's what they get paid to do. So there's all of that. But I gave them my word that this isn't something that I've ever taken. And if I, to the best of my knowledge, this isn't something that I've ever had. And if I would have had an allergic reaction to a medication, I feel like I would definitely remember that. So anyway, they're submitting all that stuff saying that I swear that I've never taken this medication, that I do not have allergies that I know of and things like that. So they're submitting that stuff back to the MHS Genesis program, and so I gotta wait for that stuff to come back. Also gotta wait for some criminal background checks to come back and some things like that. The reason why they're doing this stuff up front is because of the tattoo that needs a waiver. Since this needs a waiver, and I got tattoos everywhere else, they documented all of my tattoos, when I got, or like not when I got them, but why I got them, and things like that. They're very helpful, super nice. So if you do get the right recruiter that cares about getting people in and wants to see people serve their country, they're gonna do the best they can to constantly keep in contact with you and things like that. My previous recruiter, not so much. There was some issues with that where I would call him just to keep in touch, just to see how things were going. They wouldn't answer. I understand that they're busy and stuff, but the difference between that and the recruiter that I got now always messages me back, always generally answers phone calls or calls me right back after. These people weren't answering, they weren't calling me back, and so I decided to call. After I called from my phone a few times, I decided to give it a try from my wife's phone. This is the first time I called, they picked up and answered. So that kind of upset me a good bit, so I went ahead and got a different recruiter in the St. Louis area instead of one that was, even the other guys were closer, they weren't doing much for me. So this is like really my life. It is your life. You want to make sure that you get a recruiter that's going to do good by you and not just want to rush you through. These people are doing a good job, so I really appreciate that. And so I'm looking forward to a MEPS visit soon. But the thing about that is also I need to lose a little bit of weight. My neck is pretty big, so it makes my waist easier to, it doesn't make it where I have to lose as much, but the more weight that I lose, the better off you are in general. She also was telling me that in order to get into the Navy now, like when you first get to boot camp and you're in P days or processing days, which is generally about 4 to 5 days that you'll be in there, which counts into your boot camp time, where you're not really doing a lot of physical stuff, but you're doing mostly the medical portion and getting issued shoes, running and PT clothes and things like that, stuff that you're going to have in the beginning portion of your boot camp until you get issued actual uniform. They do all that stuff. They also do the shots, the infamous peanut butter shot and things like that. Also, if you haven't had a COVID vaccination, which I think is the COVID vaccination is murder, but it is what it is. So they'll be giving you that stuff there. So since I'm pretty sure by the time I go in, it's still going to be mandatory. I'm going to go ahead and probably end up getting the Johnson and Johnson one because I think it has least chance of side effects. Definitely not getting the Moderna. Um, I don't want like they have reported heart inflammation and things like that, and I'm just not something that I'm interested in doing. So, and YouTube, if you're listening to this stuff is actually documented that there have been issues with these, you know. So, I'm going to try to get the one that's the least amount of chances for me to die. So, there's that. So, we'll just have to see how that goes. I was hoping to be able to, like, honestly, I know it sounds terrible, but I was hoping to be able to find a doctor that would just give me a thing that says that I got it, even though that I don't. Because, whatever. But I'll probably end up having to get it. So we'll see how that goes. I will keep y'all updated like through the whole process as much as I can. I'm gonna update y'all and let y'all know how the process is going. So as we are right now, they're once they get this stuff back, the MEPS is either gonna be like, hey, we need more information, or he's good to come to MEPS. At that point, they're gonna be like, we can schedule you to go to MEPS, but you have to lose this weight first, which I am doing. I'm doing my best to take my time doing it. That way, it doesn't make myself sick or anything like that. And I've already lost like 13-ish pounds, which I'm pretty proud of, but I need to lose a lot more. Like I'm not fat or anything like that, but I am 6 feet tall and was weighing 257. Now I weigh like 246. So I'm glad that I'm losing the weight, and the more that I lose, the better my blood pressure and all the other stuff is going to be. My blood pressure has been high on certain times whenever like I was nervous at the doctor's office and things like that, even though it wasn't, an attribute of like normal blood pressure, like what it would normally read. It was just because I was nervous that it got pretty high, but I don't want to risk that, so I want my blood pressure to be as close to awesome as possible. So I'm gonna lose as much weight as possible, because every kilogram you lose, which a kilogram is 2.2 pounds, you will generally drop 1 point diastolic and systolic blood pressure, systolic blood pressure. So my blood pressure had gotten super high, so like in the doctor's office, it would like generally read like sometimes when I was nervous, like 140 something. So if I lose another 30 some odd pounds, I will definitely be in the good. So 1 point per every 2.2 pounds you lose. So lose 2.2 pounds, you lose, basically saying you could lose more than that, but basically about 1 point, top and bottom. So there's all that stuff that I'm going through with that stuff, and also at the same time, I'm trying to make sure my wife is squared away with everything, bills and financial wise, for whenever I do ship off, that she'll be able to pay all the bills and do all that stuff, even though I'll be getting paid from boot camp and it will be going into the account. I want to make sure that she's good. So they're gonna give me some time for that. Also, they're not just gonna whatever. So you make sure if you do have things that you need to take care of prior to shipping off to boot camp, make sure your recruiter's down with giving you time to do that, and make sure that it's very important to you that they do so. So yeah, and during that point in time, also make sure that you try to lose a little bit of weight if you can, and eat healthy and things like that. Like I had been taking like circulation medicine. I still take it, like for just amazing circulation. It's nothing. It's just over the counter. It's just natural stuff. So there's a company called Snap, SNAP, that makes a all natural beetroot chew. It's called Super Beets, I think, and they also make an if that ain't good enough for you, you can also stack that with an octane booster excuse me, I have heartburn like always. A nitric oxide booster that they also make. It's not super expensive or anything like that. I think the nitric oxide booster is like $25, and the beetroot stuff is about the same or whatever, but you take those both on top of each other, it reduces blood pressure by a lot. And also, since I've been taking stuff, all the beetroot stuff, I've been drinking beet juice and taking a bunch of garlic extract and things like that, my hands and arms haven't been falling asleep and stuff while I sleep. I was generally waking up after laying on my side with the side arm that I was laying on falling asleep, and that hasn't been happening nowhere near as often lately, or as bad as it was when it did happen. So I've noticed that my veins have been more like hose pipe, like a phlebotomist would love you type of veins, which a phlebotomist is like a person that draws blood, for those of you who do not know. I am definitely loving the better blood pressure that I have been having. even when I'm very super nervous. I've just always not always been nervous at doctor's offices, but since my wife has passed away, for some reason I just haven't enjoyed doctor's offices. So my blood pressure has gotten better, but I would like to see it even better. So I'm taking more stuff and trying to lose more weight and eat healthier. Also, potassium. Potassium helps you if you take a healthy amount of potassium intake per day, whether it's through what you eat or through supplementation. It helps you to pee out salt, and salt also, when you get it out of your system, helps lower your blood pressure a whole bunch. So that's good. I also takes flaxseed oil, which is good for that also. So I'm trying to do everything that I possibly can to make sure that even if I'm super nervous at MEPS, that my blood pressure is going to be good and all that because uh, at this point, I know our country needs people, even with the terrible that nobody wants. The military has been using, you know, a whole bunch of that stuff. If you ever been a person in the military, they stick you a bunch with needles with stuff that goes into your body. So this is just another thing added onto it. None of the other stuff was really healthy for you in the first place, and this isn't any better. So it's just one of those things that most likely is probably going to end up staying in the military, but we'll just see how that goes. I want to see about getting a religious waiver and just being like, I don't agree with it because this stuff was made inside of a dead baby. But we'll just have to see how that goes. Regardless, if I have to do it, I'll do it. And also in the back of my mind and in the front of my mind, I know that I have good intentions because I want to serve my country, and I also want to have the benefits after being out and being able to just obviously feel better about yourself, and also, you're part of something bigger. This is the most amazing country in the world. I don't care who you are, what you say. This country and our Constitution was completely inspired by God, and that's what I believe. I believe the two forms of literature, that only two forms that were inspired by God, and by that I mean Jesus Christ, is the Holy Bible and the United States Constitution. And that's just that. So if you don't believe that, you can go look into that if you would like, and realize that this is not, our Constitution isn't something that people couldn't have just come up on their own. It's just completely ingenious. Like, nobody could have foreseen all these loopholes that would want to be made, and the Constitution pretty much covers everything, even though them idiots in the government don't want to see that stuff right now or pay any attention to it because they know that their agenda goes the opposite direction of the Constitution. The Constitution is wholesome, and it is genuinely Christ-inspired, in my belief. And so I want to be a part of that. I want to make sure that our country is like safe. I wanted to be able to do my part, even if it's a small part. It's important to me. So just like I know that it's important to a lot of you if you're watching this, and I also appreciate you and your intentions of going into the United States military. I'm pretty sure if you're watching this at this point, that is why you're watching it, and it's also the reason why I'm making it. So that's great. Good for you. Good for me. Hopefully we'll all get in, and hopefully we can all do a good job and serve our country, get cool promotions, and you know, that's all good stuff. So also, obviously, this channel isn't made for Navy stuff. It's called Muddy Creek Outdoors. There is no Muddy Creek around here. I was just thinking of a cool name, and I've named it that because I'm a hunter, avid hunter, fisher, um, a user of hunting goods, guns, ammo, fishing baits, broadheads, bows, cameras, tactical equipment, all that stuff. I review a bunch of that stuff, and tomorrow I actually have all my stuff ready. I just got a new fly rod, even though it's super inexpensive. It's actually the cheapest one I could find. It looks really nice, and I believe that it's going to do a great job. I just actually set it all up and put a really small little popper on there, and I'm going to use it tomorrow to try to catch some, some bluegill and some things like that because, why not? And I'm also going to bring my GoPro, which actually isn't a GoPro. I forget what it's called, but it looks just like one, but it's cheaper. As I say in all my hunting videos, I'm a minimalist, and I try to do my best to spend the least amount of money as possible to still have a good time outside, catch fish, kill deer, and things like that. So, actually just hearing some weird noises right now. But yeah, so I just wanted to update everybody about this whole MEPS thing. I still don't have a date yet going. They just want to make sure that I'm completely squared away. These people are actually doing their best to help me. I've run across a lot of people on here commenting saying that they basically are running into the same issues as me with recruiters that were kind of ignoring them, and nobody wants to be blowing up somebody's phone or feel like you're a burden on somebody else or anything like that. That's why I switched to another recruiter, and it's been doing me really well so far. So if you're watching this, Mrs. Recruiter, Mrs. Petty Officer, I really appreciate you and your colleagues there in your office for helping me out because that's very important to me and everything that y'all do. I really appreciate it. So, anyways, hope that y'all enjoyed the video. I hope that it was somewhat informative, at least possibly answered some of y'all's questions and or concerns that y'all are having, possibly the same issues as me or that I was having. Also, by the way, if you're going into the Navy now, you do not have to do the 1.5 mile run in P days. So what you do now is something like some type of a line run where you run to the line and run back, kind of like line drills is from what my recruiter was explaining to me. That you also have the option to swim instead of running. There's a 500-meter swim in some odd minutes you got to complete, and also a 450-meter swim and things like that. So if you have issues running for one reason or another, whether it's like shin splints or whatever, this gives a much better, alternative to all of that. For me, it's not that really the issue. It's just that, I haven't done some of that stuff in so long. The reason why they changed it is because they're having like really poor results with expecting people to be able to run 1.5 miles in an allotted time. And when most people going into the military aren't like these physical fit people, they're fit enough, they're healthy, but they're having better outcome actually easing people into these longer runs and qualifying 1.5 mile run times. So they'll start you off by doing a line run, which is it's a one line, run back, run to a further line, run back, run to a further line, run back, and so on and so forth until you complete it. And which is a lot easier than a 1.5 mile run. And as far as I'm concerned, this is more sprinting than jogging a long ways. But hey, it's better off on a lot of people. I feel like this is going to help the Navy out a lot. And I think they made a good decision by doing this. So if that run was something that you were worried about, be less worried about it. Make sure you talk to your recruiter. Make sure that you confirm this and how it works. This is just what my recruiter told me. And I do believe that they are being honest. So that's good. So anyways, that's about all. I hope that y'all enjoyed the video. I hope that it was, like I said, informative and that it answered some of the questions that you possibly had. And I will keep y'all updated. I hope that y'all like the channel. And if you do like what you see and the stuff, these updates and things like that, even once I get in, I'm going to continue to update on my process, ranking up and also going to A school and things like that. And I'm going to let y'all know about my boot camp experience if I make it, into boot camp. If nothing else pops up that's any type of issue, as long as I get into boot camp, I'm going to keep on updating y'all and things like that. So stay tuned for that stuff because I've been doing it as much as I can. As every time I see my recruiter and things like that or I get news, I'll let y'all know. So if you would subscribe, I appreciate that stuff. If you don't really care as much about the Navy stuff, which I don't know why you'd be watching this if you didn't care about Navy stuff or MEPS and going through MEPS. So, but if you also do like hunting and fishing and reviews on guns, like really cool ammo like 6.5 Grendel and 350 Legend and different types of scopes or black powder. I just recently bought a black powder gun a while back, put a really nice scope on it, mounted it myself a really cool way. Y'all can find that video down there in the videos. And other things like that, different types of ammo. I've done some tactical stuff, some AR-15 stuff, AR-15 optics. My Glock, I've done a video on that, which is my favorite gun as far as a sidearm or secondary gun. Also, deer rifle stuff, fishing baits, all kind of stuff like that I've been doing. Also, I did a tutorial on how to clean a squirrel and a bunch of other really weird stuff. But if y'all are into that type of stuff, y'all are going to enjoy this channel, especially whenever the outdoor portions come. Which tomorrow I'm doing my first video outside as long as the weather is cool and my wife don't get mad and tell me not to go do it. So she's really not that bad. It's just, I have responsibilities here. I have a 3-month-old and other kids and, I just can't get out all the time. So I'm lucky enough that she's even, not flipping out about me going in the Navy. I do believe that she's really proud. So, baby, if you're watching this, I love you so much. Thank you so much. You have no idea. You're amazing. So, anyways, like and subscribe. If you want to support the channel, the link to my Patreon is in the description of my channel down there. I've never had anybody give on there, but it'd be cool if you did. And if you don't want to and you just want to subscribe, that's cool enough. I think I'm almost at the 200 subscriber mark, which is, you know, better than I thought that I would do. Obviously, you need to have like 1,000 subscribers within a 1 year period and over 4,000 something viewing hours to make money. For me, this is more just I feel good about informing people about certain things, and just doing this stuff in general just is really cool. So, anyway, subscribe and whatever, stick around. Anyway, God bless every single one of you. Jesus loves you, and I'll see you next time.